and all the times. Today we are presented with a scandal of faith. Why? Because the unity of the early church is at stake. The Jews who were devoted to the laws of Moses are commanding the Gentiles to become Jews first before they become Christians. And so they want them to also practice their cultural practices. And the cultural practice here is that of circumcision. But then St. Paul and St. Barnabas, the missionaries of the Gentiles, stands with the Gentiles and they try to defend the Gentiles. My dear brother of God, there are few things that we can learn from this. The first one is we must always be concerned with our internal disposition and not the outward sign. Many a times, my dear brother of God, we concentrate much on what people see and we forget the discipline of the spiritual disposition of our own souls. Circumcision was an outward sign of the covenant between God and Abraham. So it was a requirement of every Jew. But then it signified something deeper than the outward manifestation. And sometimes, my dear brother of God, we also remain at the outward disposition, the outward sign, and forget that our outward practices should signify something deeper or greater than what every other person can say. Many times we concentrate much on our appearances, we concentrate much on the practices that are manifested outwardly. But then these outward practices do not help us to be inwardly disposed. Today we are asked that we may each and every time do these outward practices and signs, but then they should help us to transform our own interior dispositions. Secondly, my dear brother of God, it is not scandalous to disagree, but it becomes a scandal when our disagreements now escalate to rift. It becomes scandalous when we cannot solve our own disagreements. The early church, they disagreed on the issue of circumcision, but then they embraced dialogue in order to solve the situation. Many a times we disagree with one another, but the real issue is that we allow our disagreement to escalate to a level that we cannot again get together, become one. And that is why we are having so many issues in our families. That is why we are having so many issues in our Christian communities, because we do not want to embrace dialogue. These people, they all had their different views about the issue or the topic of circumcision. But then when they met and sat down, they dialogued, and from there they got a way forward. My dear brother of God, we must always seek means of conflict resolutions. And one of the best means of conflict resolutions is dialogue. But the problem that we have with this generation is that when we disagree, we do not only disagree on issues, but then we allow ourselves to disagree on personalities. to the point that we cannot sit down and dialogue and talk so as to seek a means of unity. And the third thing that we learn from this, look at St. Paul and Barnabas. These people are Jews, but then they are going to Jerusalem, the first council of the church ever. They are going to Jerusalem to defend the views of the Gentiles. My dear people of God, can we be trusted with the issues pertaining to our brothers and sisters whom we do not share the same ideologies with? Many a times when we get on a table, we discuss only those things that pertains to our own welfare. And we forget the welfare of other people. We need to always seek and follow in the footsteps of St. Paul and Barnabas. These two people, they stand and defend the welfare of other people and not their own welfare. Many a times we seek that which favors us, and we tend to forget that which favor our brothers and sisters. We need to stand up and defend those people who are voiceless, those people who cannot stand on their own, those people who cannot defend their own welfare. We are called as Christians to defend them, to always stand in for them. In the gospel reading, Christ gives us one condition for us to bear fruits. And the condition is we must learn to abide in him. It means that we must try each and every day to build the relationship between us and him. Many a times, my dear people of God, we concentrate on ourselves and we forget to build the relationship that we share with the divine. Today, we are called to try to build the relationship that we share with the divine so that we can also be productive. This is the reason why we are not productive, because we've separated ourselves from the vine. Let us learn to get back to the vine so that we can bear fruits. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.